Kayode Idowu, the Chief Press Secretary to. All right, I understand that we don't have him at the moment, but when we have him, we'll be throwing some thoughts on some of the issues that we have. One of the major issues that often play out in elections is the presence of the military. Mm-hmm. We see that happen a lot during elections. What impact do you think that has on the election? Does it have any negative impact, or does it have positive impact? Let me start from you, Barrister Ogwande.
No, there's no impact. There's no negative impact. Rather, it's positive, except where, like in Delta Central, when they really got themselves involved, used by the powers that be, those who think that they are indeed powerful. I'll give the example of Edo and this Anambra that we just witnessed. In Edo, we saw, in fact, it was like a war zone. All over. Is it Bini? Is it Akoko Edo? Is it Gara? Is it Auchi? All over. It's military, in fact. We were going around.
And you think that actually helped guarantee a credible election?
No, that's where I'm going. That because of their presence, to me, I don't think it really guaranteed a credible election, because for the Edo people, to me, they've made up their mind that come what may, they are going on to vote. The Edo people, they've made up their mind. You saw it in them. How I wish you had a tape, you play it. And old people, I won't vote. I know I won't vote. How can I vote? And things like that. They were really, they wanted to vote. And
I understand that we have, sorry to cut you, I understand that we have Mr. Kayode Idowu on the line. Thank you for joining us from Abuja, Mr. Kayode Idowu, Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman. Tell us, you've been listening to, watching our conversation on the program tonight, and we'll be engaging you all through the time of the program. But tell us, we're looking at the Anambra elections and ahead of the two elections that we have in Ekiti and Osun State. A lot of things that my guests here have pointed out that were the problems in Anambra State. Take, for example, the issue of logistics, voters register. These are very key issues. Has your commission been able to thrash all of these issues to make sure that this does not play out again in Ekiti and Osun?
Yeah, thank you very much, Joe. We have done quite a lot in addressing the issues that arose in Anambra. Now, let me state that the challenge in Anambra is just like Yemi said a little while ago, that it also has to do with voter education. Take the issue of the register. The commission is convinced that the integrity of the register is high. The problem we had in Anambra is that people who ought to have used the opportunity of the continuous voter registration to update their name on the biometric register, unfortunately, they don't make use of that opportunity. And so going forward, towards Ekiti and Osun and 2015, we are doing everything possible to make sure that everybody who ought to be on the biometric register and who for one reason or the other is not there now, uses the opportunity that we will be making available for them to get on the biometric register. That was the whole point of our being going to Osun and Ekiti last week, and we will be doing a lot of sensitization. So when people, because it has to be a joint effort, when we all collaborate and make sure that we do play the role that we have to play, issues that arose in Anambra will not arise. Now, the issue of logistics that you said, yes, unfortunately, we've had this challenge with logistics. Again, let me say that because I had the contributor who said, one from one end of Anambra to the other, nothing happened. I beg to differ, like there. We had a challenge with one local government, just like you rightly said, and it's in the public domain what happened in that local government. Now, we will do our best. Of course, the official has been charged to court. INEC is not in control of the judicial processes. The best we can do is to charge him to court, and we have done that. And we are following up the case, hoping that the process will go through the judicial system.
All right, let me quickly jump in here, Mr. Idowu. Let me quickly ask you before you go too far, so that we take it one after the other. the issue of the voters register was a major problem. Some of the parties in Anambra State actually criticized what INEC did when it came to the voters register. For example, they said that you gave them the draft of the voters register a few months before the elections, and which was an initial draft, and afterwards you released another one barely a week, which they couldn't, according to them, they could not study ahead of that, which actually generated a lot of problems. And a lot of people, voters, went to the polling booth and they could not find their names.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I can. Now, you see, the issue of giving two registers in Anambra, we've also tried to explain that. The law requires us to give the register 30 days to the election. We did that. But when we were now printing, we gave the soft copy of the register 30 days to election to the political parties. Now, when we were now printing out that soft copy as hard copy, we were printing out to take to the polling unit. The commission discovered that because of the software, the programming of the software, there was a reduction across the board for everybody of their age by 2 years. Now, the challenge for that is that for somebody who is 50, there's no big problem. Maybe he will be 40. But somebody who was 18 in 2011, that means the person will be 16 now. And during the stakeholder meeting, the chairman asked the politician, did you notice any error in this register that we gave you 30 days ago? None of them complained. Then he now told them, well, if you did not see any error, when we were printing out this register, we noticed this problem. Nothing else was affected. The number of people in the register was not affected. All the amendment that was made was in the age that was affected by the software programming. And he asked them, so we gave them another copy during that stakeholder meeting and requested that go and check again. If you see any difference between what we gave you earlier, then you can raise it. But there was no issue to that effect. So it was strange that people came up after the election to say the register that they were given earlier was different from the one that they were given during the stakeholder meeting. Believe me, it's not true.
All right, Mr. Idowu, just briefly, because you have to hang on and just be with us on the program. Just quickly mention to us, just in about a minute, just tell us what exactly are you doing differently from what we saw in Anambra and ahead of the Ekiti and Osun election. What are you doing differently?
For instance, in the Ekiti State, beginning with the Ekiti State, we will be issuing the permanent voter cards. The permanent voter cards will be used for the elections. So we will not be using the card readers for now. We will use the card readers in 2015. But at least we will use the permanent voter cards. The implication of that is that the issue of somebody not finding his name in the register will not arise. Because if your name is not in the register, you will not get the permanent voter cards in the first place. So you know before election day whether or not your name is not in the register. So that's one thing that we are doing in the Ekiti. Also, we are ensuring that whatever challenge we have concerning logistics in Anambra and previous elections, those challenges have been addressed, such that we will, as much as possible, be able to start elections across all the polling units affected as much as possible on the trend. That's by 8 a.m. We are doing all that is possible to ensure that. More importantly, we are stepping up the game concerning voter education, because that was a big challenge and we discovered in Anambra State.
And that of logistics too. Possible. And that of logistics too. That appears to be a major problem most of the times.
Yeah, like I said, we are doing everything possible to address that.
All right, just hang on with us. You're going to be part of the conversation, because we're still looking at a timetable for these particular elections and that of 2015. But let me allow my guests here to wade in into what Mr. Idowu has said. based on our conversations here, Ekiti and Osun States. So, Big Tree, Farouk Ingnia said, INEC must get the Ekiti and Osun elections right, otherwise there will be lots of confidence on 2015 polls. Very important thoughts there. If election in Ekiti and Osun are impeccable, there's going to be confidence, isn't it?
Very much so.
For starters, obviously Ekiti and Osun are not equal in terms of political activism as in what we saw in Anambra. The Ekitis particularly will not take any mistake, and they will not take any excuse for any misdemeanor or any excuse at all whatsoever. So whatever they must do, just as Mr. Idowu have said now, they should ensure that they up their game and ensure that they cross their T's very well and dot their I's very well. Because you remember the last election in Ekiti, the Udris I remember the name very well. Idiocy or something like that. That palaver that between Shegun, the two Sheguns now. Definitely, they are not ready to take any no. So they have all the time now to quickly jump onto the trenches or to the roll their sleeves on and get running. Ensure that they go there, look at the issues of logistics, look at the issue of voter education, and of course voters education, and of course look at how their constituencies, vote registration and so on. You see, election is not a process. It's not an event. It's a process. Let them go now. You see, Section 10 and Section 9 and 10 of the Electoral Act provides for what we call the continuous education, continuous voter registration. Voters should begin to be registered now. Not people who come 2 days to the election, there is no election, their names are not on the voter register. Like it's happened in Anambra. On election day, somebody told me, somewhere in Osu or Abagana or something, that he voted here during the last general election. And that he's now here now, and they said his name is not there.
Interesting.
But that's the issue.
Okay, yeah.
No, I was just going to say that that's the issue he has raised with the voters register card, people not verifying their names. But they've also announced the dates for continuous voters register for Ekiti and Osun from March 12 to March 19. And I think the key thing to what Mr. Idowu said is making sure that in the time we have now, which is already less than a month, that the voter education process actually starts in full force. So people know they have to do that. So basically, by March 19, if you haven't registered, you cannot vote on June 21.
Interesting. Well, we're still talking about the 2014 and 2015 elections. INEC has released a timetable and plans ahead of these particular elections. Ekiti and Osun States are very important elections this year, which a lot of people have said that it will determine how credible or how confident Nigerians will take INEC ahead of the 2015 elections. We'll be back right after now.